In our next video, I'm going to walk you through an example loan summary fact sheet. Many of you will be starting your private lending investment career with a broker, and that broker will be providing you different loan opportunities. It's going to fall on you to be able to read and interpret the information that they provide, because ultimately the decision to invest or not to invest resides on your shoulders. I want to make sure that you know all of the major components to look for on a loan summary sheet, so that way you can apply everything you've learned so far while you're reviewing one. I highly encourage all of you to download and print the example loan summary fact sheet, so that way you can have it in front of you as I walk you through it. Let's get started. In this section, we're going to walk you through an example loan summary fact sheet. All of you should have printed off this very same example loan summary fact sheet and have it in front of you as I walk you through it. So remember that these loan summary fact sheets are presented to you by an actual broker. The broker does all the work, finds the loan, does all the due diligence, and summarizes all of its findings and all the pertinent information that you want to know into one nice, simple, concise form that I'm going to walk you through right now. All of us out there are well aware that there's many people out there taking advantage of flips and rehab opportunities. They're finding dirt cheap houses, putting a little bit of money into it, and then flipping it for a profit. That's the same thing that's going on here with this example loan summary. This borrower is doing the same thing except on a little bit bigger of a scale. They're doing it with an apartment complex. So let me walk you through the basic components so that way we know what we're looking at. You'll find here that the borrower is Real Estate Success LLC. Now this is just a company, it's an entity, and it needs to be signed for by an actual individual, and that individual is John B. Borrower. Next, we're going to take a look at the loan amount. John wants to borrow $4 million. And he wants to buy $4 million to be able to acquire this property, rehab it, and eventually sell it for a profit. Now, obviously, the security on this loan is actually a first trust deed on this subject property, which we could tell is a 200-unit apartment complex known as the Scott Terraces. The Scott Terraces is made up of 8 different buildings located on 8 acres that was built in 1985. The current value of the Scott Terraces appraised recently is $7 million. So remember, before we're worried about how much money we make, with private lenders, I want to make sure that we're protected. So to find our loan to value, we take the $4 million loan amount, divide that by the $7 million value of the property, and that is going to give us a loan to value of 57.1%. That's an as-is value. So as the property stands today before any improvements have been made. So obviously, 57% is right where we want to be. Usually anywhere below 75% is relatively safe. So next, we see that they're going to pay us 10% annually to borrow our money for 12 months. And John, borrower, has built in an optional 6-month extension. So sometimes these loans will require additional time to acquire the financing or get the property sold. This borrower has planned for that ahead of time, so extensions are not rare. He plans on borrowing this money from anywhere from 12 to 18 months. And if he chooses to extend that extension, he will continue to pay interest to you, the lender. Next, you're going to see the section that talk about the additional comments on the property. And what you need to know here is that the previous owner acquired this property in January of 2002. And he was a victim of the mortgage crisis as well. His apartment complex jumped up in value. He over-leveraged it, and eventually the property itself deteriorated to where there were so many units in unrentable condition he couldn't even afford his mortgage payment anymore. And that's all detailed in the additional comments section. Our borrower, John Borrower, recognized that this was a diamond in the rough type of property because it is currently being rented out at 35% occupancy. So only 70 of the units out of the 200 are even rented out right now. Half of them, 100 of the units, are in such bad shape that they can't even be rented out. So no wonder why this property wasn't bringing enough money to pay its bill. But the reason why this is a diamond in the rough is all the other apartments in the surrounding area are rented out in the 85 to 95% occupancy range. We're at 35. So obviously we just have a property that's underperforming. And our borrower knows that he can rehab it, get the occupancy levels back up, and then have a valuable property to flip. The next section of this loan summary sheet talks a little bit about the value. The value I already told you was appraised for $7 million. And that's where we based our loan to value on. Sometimes people look at the value of what it's going to be after the renovations, because our borrower plans on putting $750,000, $750,000 into rehabbing this property and getting it back up into tip-top shape. So if you added in just the dollar for dollar amount he's adding into the value of the property, that puts it at $7.75 million, which the new loan to value would be 51.6%. That's only assuming that the renovations only add a dollar for dollar basis. But based on our expertise, we expect the renovations to add well over $1 million in value to the property. Then we, of course, want to look at our exit strategy. How is our borrower going to pay us back? And this borrower actually has 3 separate, equally good exit strategies. Well, the first one is he has multiple different projects going on like this one. If any of the other projects fail, he's going to have the money he needs to pay off this loan, or at least a big chunk of the principal. He also has the potential to sell this property to other buyers the minute he completes the rehab. And he already has multiple people that he's done prior work with that are interested in buying the property once he completes the rehab. Last but not least, he could always just get a new 30-year long-term loan, which will then pay off your loan, but also then just allow him plenty of time to allow this investment to work for him over the next 30 years and make him plenty of money. The last section that I'm going to go over here is the section on the borrower himself, John B. Borrower. It's going to give you all the details about his background, his 25 years of experience, what he's been doing after the market crash to take advantage of the distressed real estate opportunities that exist, and also tell a little bit about what he's doing right now. All of this has been evaluated and determined by the broker. So they've done all the due diligence on this borrower and made sure that he definitely has the ability and wherewithal to be able to execute the loan the way it's designed to. And on the last page of the loan summary sheet, you're going to find aerial photos of the actual project and maps, of course. So if you're in the vicinity, stop by and check it out yourself. But remember, that's why we have a broker to do all that hard work for us. So I've walked you through this loan summary example sheet, and I want you to know it really is that simple. All the work's already been done for you. When you get your money invested in a self-directed IRA, or you have that money in your bank account, you could start receiving these loan summary sheets from a broker with no cost. As soon as you find a deal you like, you can then invest. So hopefully this helped all of you. Feel free to go back through this video as many times as you want, or go through the handout to help you understand it further. At the end of this course, I'm going to give you help with an actual broker who can help you walk you through real life examples to help you get started.